And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
A while ago, I reviewed a game called Telepathy, a two-player deduction game that I liked enough that I still have it. Well, the company remade it, and now they're calling it Telepathy Magic Minds. And you can see here that this awful cover has been replaced by a cover that's, while not fantastic, is much better. Although, Professor Xavier there. Anyhow, they also have made a game called Brain Freeze, which is a kid's version of Telepathy. So I'm going to be taking a look at both of these because they play identically. This one is just somewhat simpler. Let's take a look. Here's the boards for both games. We have Telepathy, Magic Minds here, and Brain Freeze over here. They are essentially the same thing, except this one has A through R and 1 through 18. So this is an 18 by 18 grid, which is incredibly larger than a 10 by 10 grid. But we're going to take a look at this 10 by 10 grid. Each player has one of these. They also have up here, and they're going to pick a letter and a number of where they are. Now I'm going to pick that letter and number without telling you what they are. And we're going to go through how this would work together. So let's say it's my turn and I'm trying to guess this letter or you're going to guess my letter. And so you say, all right, E5. Now I'm going to look at mine. And is mine in that row? Is it in that column? Is it yellow? Or is it banana, I guess, I'm sorry. Or is it the popsicle? So I look at mine and I would say no, it is none of those things. So because you said that, you can cross out the entire row of E, you can cross out the row of 5, you can cross off banana, and you can cross off popsicle. Then maybe the next one that you ask would be D6. And D6, I say yes. Now that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that's the one that I am. That means one of the 4 characteristics that I said matches. So you know that it's either pink, or it's an ice cream sandwich, or it's in row D, or it's in column 6. So maybe your next guess here would be D8. And so I look at mine, D8, and I would say no. Now because I say no here, you know that it is none of the D and none of 8, and it's also not lime, and it's also not a snow cone. Now because we figured that out, you also know that it is either pink or it is an ice cream sandwich. So maybe, or it could be a pink ice cream sandwich too, so maybe you pick something else that's pink, so maybe you'll say A7. And on A7, I'll say yes. Now that doesn't mean that it's pink per se, because it could be in row A, or it could be in column 7. So you pick another pink one. So you'll pick B9. And in B9, I also say yes. And again, that's not proving a lot of different things. It just, it could be pink, and it could be in row B, number 7. Well, that doesn't work. So you can slowly use the logic. So let's say maybe your next guess here would be I2. So we look at I2. Well, actually, you would not guess I2 because technically I2 is green in the snow cone, which is canceled out. But we haven't canceled out chocolate yet, and we haven't canceled out sundae. So we'll look for a chocolate sundae somewhere on the board. Chocolate sundae. Oh, there's one. A10. So you say A10. A10 chocolate sundae? No. Actually, that's yes. That one does work. Well, now you have more and more clues as to what it might be. You have 2 in a row in here. Now, it could be a pink sundae. It could be a chocolate thing. And you're going to use logic and so on. I'm not going to finish this out, but after a while, you're going to be able to say, hey, it's definitely C3. A pink sundae in position C3. And then I would say, yes, that's correct. So each player has these things, and when it's your turn, you would say, for example, when you pick C3, I would also circle milkshake and bubblegum. And when you ask me and say, is it B1, for example, I would look and say, not B, not 1, not snow cone, not chocolate. So my answer is no. All 4 things have to be wrong to say no. Now over here it's the same thing, although you can see it's going to be much harder because there's 18 rows and columns, and there are more colors. Instead of there being 5 colors and 5 objects, in this one there are 9 colors and 9 objects. Anyway, the first person to guess the other person's hidden thing is the winner. Guys, I really like this game. This game takes the best parts of Battleship. It takes the best parts of deduction games. Now, this is not a complex deduction game, but as you can see, there's enough there to guess things. Obviously, no answers are great because they cancel out 4 things. But yes answers are also helpful, and several yes answers can help you pinpoint exactly where your opponent is. Now, obviously, I prefer playing the adult game, and I feel it gives a good challenge, and my older daughters can handle the adult version of the game, but the younger ones also played the kids version, and they really had a good time. And ice cream is such a well-loved thing. Now, the symbols on the this board here, on the big board, are a little wonky, right? There's a whole lot of them. It's not super clean, but you can tell the difference between the colors and the shapes. But there is a lot going on. This is a very busy board. It doesn't bother me, but I do wish it looked maybe a little bit like the board for the ice cream board, because this is just a nice board, much easier on the eyes than this one. But I don't care because I like the game that much. It comes with, of course, cheap erasable markers. If you're going to keep the game for a while, you'll probably want to replace those at some point. But overall, I'm going to recommend these games. If you like deduction at all and you don't want to play something super heavy, this is great. Now, it's 2-player only, and you're going back and forth, but it's fast enough. We're talking 10-minute games, and it's something where you're just going to have fun trying to outguess the other person. And really, I wouldn't say that it's as much of a game as it's a race to see who can solve it first. There's no like strategy in picking which one. You're just kind of randomly picking one of the huge amount of squares that are on the board, 1 of 100 for the kids, or 1 out of 18 squared for the older game. But so I would compare it maybe to Mastermind, if you ever played Mastermind, where you're just giving the other person clues. But since you're both playing simultaneously while the other person's thinking, you can also be thinking about what you're going to pick next. So highly recommend it, and I'm really glad that there's 2 versions, a great one for adults and a great one for kids. Dice Tower Judgment, deliciously excellent.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool Stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.